Yay, Kristen. Yay, yay, yay. What would you do without me, my darling?
I will be of course.
Well, you know what, Kristen? We don't have that much time, but as promised, I can give you like 5 or 10 minutes where you could go on and talk about what month this is relating to your organization. Okay?
Okay.
All
Is
right.
Kim here?
Kim is not feeling well. She's here, but she's in the background. So we have to carry on with this, my lion sister, okay?
Okay.
All right. And welcome, Miss Felicia Clark. I'm so glad that you could join us.
Hello, thanks for the welcoming, and I'm happy to be here to hear what is going on. So thanks for the invite, Dr. Gina Lowell. She's in clinic today, so she won't be joining us, but I'll get back with her on what was shared today. So thank you, ladies.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everyone. Okay.
No, thank you for coming. And I did get your information from April, my sister, and she spoke very highly of you and Dr. Gina. So I'm glad you could join us.
Thank
And
you
well,
again.
you're welcome. And welcome, Susan.
Hi, thank you. I'm from the ARC. This is my first meeting, so excited to find out more about this group.
Well, all right, Susan. Look at you, girl. Good. Glad to have you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we're just going to wait just a little bit longer because it is 10 o'clock on the dot, and we're just going to wait a little bit longer. And then we're going to get this party started. Hey, April is here. Hey, Maureen, my darling, how are you? Maureen. Cool beans. Hey, April, I'm glad you could join us. I just told Felicia you said wonderful things about her and Dr. Gina.
Oh, good morning, Suzette. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I'm glad I was able to join too. I had a meeting that was rescheduled at 10:30, so I will be on for a minute and happy that Felicia could join. And good morning, everyone.
Okay, cool. Well, we're just waiting a little bit longer and then we're gonna get this party started.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Suzette.
Uh-huh. Jatan. I like that name. Jatan. Cool. Good morning, Faith. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing pretty well. And yourself?
I am good, my darling. I am good.
Wonderful.
Thank you for joining us. Hey, Deanne Hall, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm
I'm great.
good. I'm good.
That's good.
Hi, Suzette. This is Tamika.
Hey, Tamiko, I'm glad you could join us. How are you, my darling?
I'm doing great. I'm in the car between appointments, so I'll be on for a little bit, then I'll have to run in. But just wanted
Okay.
to say hi to you.
All right, no worries. It's a lot of people that have to like leave a little bit early, have to leave a little bit early. And I do have this fantastic poem for Women's Health Month, Women's History Month. So if you guys miss it, you could go on, we're on YouTube, so you can go on and listen. But anyway, so we're going to get this party started. Good morning, everyone. I am welcome, and happy Women's History Month. And I am Lion Suzette Logan, and this is the National Provider Network, sponsored by Family to Family, the Illinois chapter of the Federation for Children's Mental Health. At the National Provider Network, we strive to bridge the gap between people and resources, bringing together organizations, schools, and agencies to support the community, local and national. We are a professional network aimed at breaking down and erasing barriers to education, health, physical and mental, and supporting economic stability for youth and their families. Locally, the National Provider Network represents youth and their families in the townships of Bloom, Brennan, Rich, and Thornton. And each month, the National Provider Network works towards the goal of increasing access to education and mental health, and supporting new innovative services and programs, and presenters like the two we have today who will address mental health, who can address mental health, well-being, social and emotional learning, educational services, along with economic and community development. So I just want to say again, welcome to everyone. And we're going to get this party started. Sit back, get comfortable, get your coffee, get your water, soda or tea, and I will call on people to introduce themselves and say a little bit about where they're from. And then I will introduce the presenters that we have, two wonderful, wonderful people. And I just want to remind people that we'll only be meeting for an hour. So we're from 10 o'clock to 11. And so we're going to be articulate and concise and keep the meeting rolling. Okay. So first of all, I would like to call on April, if you can introduce yourself and tell us where you're from.
Hi, thank you so much, Suzette. I'm April Tolbert. I'm with the Cook County Department of Public Health. I'm in our Community Engagement and Health Education Unit. And for folks that may not be aware, the Cook County Department of Public Health, we are the suburban public health agency for the majority of suburban Cook County. There are a few cities that have their own health department, but I'm representing suburban Cook County. Happy to be on. Thank you, Suzette. Should I pop it over to someone else?
Yeah, if you can. I don't know I don't know.
Okay.
We have a tech support person in the back, so I don't
Okay.
exactly know how it got to be. But yeah, if you
Okay.
can do that, absolutely.
Sure. I will pass it over to my partner, Felicia Clark, if she's able
Okay.
to unmute.
I
Okay.
can. Good morning again, everyone. I think, April, you've done a wonderful job putting here in the chat. So I am Felicia Clark, former child death investigator for Cook County Medical Examiner's Office for 10 plus years, now working as prevention coordinator with CPAS Chicago, that's umbrella under Rush Children's Hospital, and we're just bringing awareness to sudden unexpected infant death. Just quickly, I don't know if you guys are aware, some may be, that unfortunately one baby dies a week in Cook County due to sudden unexpected infant death. Most of these deaths are involving suffocation or rollovers, things like that. African American babies are 15 times more likely to die from sudden unexpected infant death opposed to Caucasians. And so most of these deaths occur on the south and west sides of Chicago. So we are bringing awareness to it, trying to prevent these deaths. So that's it for me, and glad to be here.
Thank you, Felicia. And you can pass it on to somebody. Oh, you're on mute. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Maureen Hall. I'm kind of
Okay.
what I can see here. Okay.
Maureen, you're on mute. Maureen, you're on mute. Maureen. Kim, can you take her off of mute or no? Okay, so you know what, Maureen, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Can
there
hear
you
me now?
go.
Okay, there you go. Sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. My name is Maureen Hall. I am the founder of Premier Treatment and Counseling Services, which provides addiction treatment services to adults and adolescents. So along with that, I'm also a DUI service provider and also certified in anger management classes.
Well, thank you and welcome, my darling. Okay, and you can
Thank
pass it
you.
on to somebody, Maureen.
I would like to pass it on to Deanna Hall.
Deanna Hall.
Thank you, Maureen. I don't know if my camera is showing. If you
But
all
that's
can see
okay,
me.
Deanna, it's all good.
Oh, okay. Well, I am Deanna Hall. I'm excited to be here. This is my first time joining. I was invited by Maureen, and I am the CEO and founder of Peaceful Minds Enterprise, which is a non-for-profit organization that aims to strengthen communities by providing accessible mental health supports and resources. I also provide education on mental health and cognitive skill development via like a training curriculum for adolescents and young adults. And I also, within our program, we have a workplace wellness program. And we do all these things by teaching mindfulness techniques and teaching psychotherapy and individual therapy. So we're just a overall hands-on approach to mental health. Yeah, and I'm excited to be here and to connect with you all.
And we are excited to have you, and thank you, Maureen, for inviting Deanna. Thank you. Okay, Deanna, now you can pass it on to somebody else. You got to take yourself off of mute, though.
I do. I see Kathleen.
Okay, Kathleen.
Hi there.
Hey, hey.
Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So I'm one of the speakers today. I work with the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. Been with the office for 19 years. For the last 15, I've been part of the Cook County Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. So we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Kathleen,
before
I don't mean
that,
to interrupt. Kathleen,
with
Kathleen.
pillars.
I don't mean
Yeah.
to interrupt, but you don't have to say all of that because you're going to say all of
No.
that when you talk about your presentation.
I can say all that later. Sure, not a problem. But I'm glad to be with you guys.
All
So
right.
thanks for having me.
Okay, thank you. And Kathleen, you can pass it on to somebody else.
Okay, let's see whose name comes up here. How about Jatan?
Jatan. Jatan.
Here I am. I'm sorry.
Okay, no
Always
worries.
having issues finding that unmute button. So my name is Jatan Strickland, and I am with an organization called Cook County Juvenile Council. And what we do is we collaborate in partnership with our local police departments, school districts, probation departments to implement top-tier diversion opportunities and programs in the Southland. Our primary focus is to give the community access to behavioral health programs, restorative justice, training, practices, professional development, and curriculum. We offer supportive services like K-9 support services, mental health consultation, parent cafes, mentoring services, and we are located in Park Forest.
Well, welcome, my darling. We are happy to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, and you can pass it on to somebody else, Jatan, and I like that name.
Thank you.
Now that I know how to pronounce it.
Okay. Let's see. What about Faith Hawkins? Did she go already?
No, she didn't go.
Okay.
Faith?
All right.
Okay.
Hello, how are you, everybody? I'm
Hey,
Faith
hey.
Hawkins. I am the program coordinator or program director for Book Family Advocacy Center. We are located in South Holland. We provide counseling, parenting classes, financial literacy, among other things. So we're here.
Hey, Faith. How are you? And say hello to the bishop for me, okay?
I sure will. He's out the country right now.
Okay, cool beans on that. Okay, and Faith, you can pass it on to somebody else.
Let me see. After Miss Wings.
Cool beans on that. Shanae.
Good morning, everybody. Shanae Weems from River Edge Hospital. We are a behavioral health facility offering services to the lifespan, children as young as 4, all the way through adult seniors, inpatient and outpatient services, intensive outpatient therapy, partial hospitalization, amongst other opportunities for mental health care.
Thank you and welcome, my darling. And you can pass it on, Shanae. You can pass it on to somebody.
Okay, just getting on here, so I'm not sure who has
Okay,
it.
pass it on to Ariel.
Ariel.
Okay.
Hey y'all, I am Ariel. I actually am the Director of Membership and Marketing for Family to Family, but I also work for Northwestern University in partnership with DCFS on the Spider team. So welcome everybody.
All right, hello. And Ariel, you pass it on to somebody.
Susan Agrawal?
Yes, Susan. Susan?
Hi.
Hey.
Yes, my name is Susan. This is my first meeting. I'm here from the ARC of Illinois, where I am the new director of the Family to Family program there. So the ARC of Illinois is mostly for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, but my program covers children up to age 22 with any disability or any medical condition. That, of course, includes mental and behavioral health. And basically what I do is I help individuals or professionals to navigate healthcare and disability systems so they can get whatever services they need when they need them. And I am thrilled to be here, especially because historically the ARC has not had the best outreach. We're statewide, but we haven't necessarily had the best outreach in certain parts of the state. And so I'm really hoping to expand that further.
Well, welcome, my darling, and thank you for coming. And there is a message in the chat box for you, Susan, from
thank you.
the tech support. And you can pass it on. I would suggest that you pass it on to Kristen.
Okay, Kristen, to you.
Kristen?
Hi, everybody. My name is Kristen Hatley. I'm the founder CEO of Our Mental with CP and ADHD. I'm also a board member of Family to Family for children with mental health. I'm happy to be here.
Well, thank you, Kristen. And you can pass it on to someone. I would suggest James. James Flagg.
Yes, ma'am. Not a problem. Let me work on my camera. There we go. Hopefully you guys can see me. Good morning, everybody. Happy to be here. James Flagg. I am the CSBG, or Community Service Block Grant Outreach Manager for CEDA of Cook County, and that's the Community Economic Development Association. Happy to be here with you all today. We provide a lot of financial and economic assistance for families with no income or low income throughout Cook County, City of Chicago included. We have a number of great resources, and just a quick plug for our community needs assessment. You all, if you're on our mailing list, you should get a notification about our annual survey, which comes up every so often, and it's an opportunity for you to give us insight on what programs CETA should keep, modify, or maybe table or sunset for other opportunities. So I'll drop my contact information in the chat, and it's a pleasure to be here with you all.
Thank you, James. And I would suggest that you pass it on to Patriska. Wait, no,
Ms. Patriska, you're up next.
Patriska.
Oh,
Right.
Patriska, sorry about that.
Okay. I think. Hello, everyone. I'm Patricia Thigpen, and I am also happy to be here. This is the first meeting that I've been able to participate in as well. And I am here to represent Progressive Partners Action Team, Land 79. I am also employed with the Department of Children and Family Services, and I am just here to be a part of the community. So thank you for having me.
Well, welcome, my darling. We are glad to have you here. Okay, and Patriska, you could pass it on to someone. I would suggest Lori Deal.
I will go with your suggestion. Lori Deal, you have it.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lori Deal. I'm from the South Suburban Council. I am the Director of Central Intake and Admissions. I'm also the Director of the Stabilization and Transition Services Program here at the South Suburban Council. We are inpatient, outpatient, patient treatment facility. We have about 7 programs here in the building, and we're also starting to work with the schools, doing partnerships with drug testing and actually running their suspension to alternative programs. So I'm glad to be here, and it's good to meet everyone.
Hey, Lori, and welcome to you, my darling.
Thank you.
I would suggest that you pass it on to Tamiko.
Okay, Tamiko.
Tamiko?
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm Tamiko Dockery. I'm with Hartgrove Behavioral Health System and Garfield Park Behavioral Hospital, where we offer no-cost assessments for walk-ins and appointments. We serve adults as well as children at Hartgrove and children only at Garfield Park Hospital. And I will share a flyer with Suzette that she can send to everyone. We just opened a new neuropsych unit at Hartgrove Hospital that just opened this week. So we're very excited about that. And, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to either hospital. Thank you,
Tamiko. Thank you. Okay, and the last person we have is Sandra Baptist, and I saved her for last because Sandra is one of our presenters. So she will share her information once I make the introduction to her and her co-presenter, which is Kathleen McGowan, affectionately known as Callie. Okay, so today we have online safety for children and adolescents. And basically, the 2 presenters are from an organization called the Internet Crimes Against Children, ICAC Task Force. And this program is a national program of 61 coordinated task forces, representing over 5,000 federal, state, and local law enforcement, dedicated to investigating, prosecuting, and developing effective responses to internet crimes against children. In 2019, the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force received over 69,000 reports of child exploitation. And then in 2020, the Cyber Tip Line received more than 21 million reports relating to child sexual exploitation. So at this point, I would like to introduce Sandra Baptiste, Lion Sandra Baptiste, my Lion sister, and her co-presenter, Kelly McGowan, who will talk to us this morning about online safety for children. So Sandra, my darling, take it away.
Good morning, all. I'm Detective Sandra Baptiste, Rule. I am, as Suzette said, I'm a detective. I am also a member of the ICAT task force, where we do investigate cyber crimes, where there is online solicitation for children who are just children who people are trying to solicit for illicit sexual acts. I am going to be co-presenting actually with my partners, Kathleen McGowan. She works for the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, and she could tell you more about herself. I'm currently a detective in Harvey Police Department, and I work I'm the youth coordinator. Handle all the sex crimes. I handle all the special victim crimes, and I also do community outreach for our department, and I also do referral services and deflection and deferment. So that's enough about me. If you have any questions, you have to forgive me. I'm at a conference and I did promise that I was going to be here, but I'm going to turn it over to Kathleen so that you can get all the things that we need to share. Thank you all for allowing us to speak with you guys.
And thank you, Sandra, for being here. And Kathleen,
No
there you
problem.
go, baby.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Sandra's way too modest. I've been working with her for, gosh, a little over 10 years now. One of the best people I've ever met. So yeah, so we are both members of the Cook County Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. And we do work with task forces in other states. Here in Illinois, we have two. We originally had one task force that covered the entire state. And back around 2000, somewhere between 2003, 2005, they decided that Cook County had enough of our own, unfortunately, our own crimes, that we deserved our own group. So we currently have 74 police departments in our group. Right now, I believe we have over 180 detectives that we've trained. I've been with the unit for 15 years, so I've seen a little bit of everything. So excited to meet all of you and have the opportunity to network a little bit and just kind of let you guys know, who we are and what we do. My main job with the unit is outreach, and I do the admin work and some of the grant stuff that we all need to do to keep our lives going. So we do a lot of outreach to schools and within the community. We have a group of us that go out. We do presentations anywhere from pre-K up till seniors in high school, for parents, for professionals who work with children who are victims of people online. And we also train law enforcement. So we cover quite a bit here and there. The crimes that we handle and that we work affect people under 18. So we work on things like traveling, where people are coming here to have relationships or date children who are younger. We have people who send obscenities to minors. That could be pictures, it could be messages, could be videos. We work on child sexual abuse material cases, which used to be child pornography cases. So we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute, so you kind of know where that's coming from as far as what's illegal. And we work on grooming, sextortion cases. So pretty much anything having to do with somebody harming a child under 18 online. Sextortion has become a huge part of the cases that we handle across the country. Sextortion is where someone will, and it happens to adults as well, but that is where someone will friend a child, groom them into believing that they're their best friend in the world, and then ask them for nude pictures. Once they have the pictures of that child, they start threatening them. They threaten them for money, for more pictures, because there is a bit of a market for inappropriate pictures of children. So just to give you kind of an idea of the pictures and what they kind of have to do with the law. So almost any nude picture of someone under 18 can be considered child sexual abuse material. Now, like I tell students, it's not the little baby pictures that people have shoved in a book or a drawer somewhere, because we all have those. These are pictures where the kids are usually a little bit older, usually junior high, early high school. And the kids look more like they're modeling. You know, it could be a selfie. It could be someone taking it of them. It could be it could be a picture where a kid doesn't even realize they're having pictures taken of them. Years ago, we had a guy who was taking pictures, and they were calling it upskirting, where he had a little camera and a little, it was like a little remote camera on his shoe, and he was walking up behind women at Trader Joe's and recording, taking pictures of them. So it can be all kinds of weird things that would be considered inappropriate. So we work on those cases. The sextortion cases right now are hitting mostly males, 7th grade to like juniors in high schools. I think people are finding it easier to go after the boys, because I think the boys are still more trusting and less suspicious, is at least what I get from them when I talk to them in schools. So sextortion is a huge deal. To get more on that, because I know we have limited time, there is a documentary on Prime. It's called Sextortion: The Next Pandemic. So if you get Prime, it's a really interesting documentary to watch. They have victims speaking, FBI agents, Homeland Security agents, anybody that's working on these cases. Most of the people that are scamming the kids are coming out of the Philippines and Kenya right now. But it's harming a lot of children across the country. So just to kind of, make yourselves aware of that, if you are working with kids and they are talking about those kinds of conversations, they're very common right now. It seems that a lot of boys who are gamers are getting scammed for pictures. Discord, which is a chat platform that kids are using while they're gaming, that seems to be popular for that type of offender as well. So if you work with kids and they're online a lot, which most kids are, I had a girl a couple of days ago at a school tell me that TikTok told her she was on for 72 hours in 1 week, which is insane. But when we think about it, everything kids do is on some sort of screen. Their whole life is on social media. So to think of somebody spending a lot of hours, I'm more surprised when they tell me they're only on for 2. It's just a normal thing for them as well. So when you're working with kids who are on a lot, it's to make sure they know to pay attention to the conversations. What I've found over the years is that seems to be the most important way to tackle it. Kids are going to do what kids do. They're going to be curious. They're going to go to the places we don't want them to go. They're going to take part in the conversations and games we don't want them to take part in. But I think our responsibility is to let them get them to recognize what a conversation looks like that's inappropriate, and to back away from those so they can kind of pull themselves out of it before it gets too heavy. So when I talk to kids in school, especially 3rd grade and up, I talk to them a lot about respect. If we teach them how to respect other people, tell them they have to be respectful of other people, that others have to be the same towards them. A lot of kids right now, especially 7th, 8th grade, it's amazing to me they don't feel the need to be respected by other people. They don't know what a disrespectful conversation is necessarily, because they're so used to seeing people bully online. They're so used to seeing inappropriate things on television, and not knowing the context of them to give them some kind of balance, that they think that this is how people act. If somebody likes somebody, they're supposed to be inappropriate. They're supposed to talk about their relationships. A normal conversation is for your friends, but conversation where you're talking about dating or sex, those are conversations with boyfriends and girlfriends, and it's perfectly normal. So I think part of what we need to do is make sure they understand what's respectful and what isn't, who they can trust and who they can't, and not even necessarily by stranger or not stranger, but again, by how people are speaking to them, what they're asking them to do, what's a little more age appropriate for them, and what their personality is, what they already know, what they may have been exposed to, and making sure they know that anything else is not necessarily okay. A lot of students don't think anymore that it's a big deal to take a nude picture and send it to people. So just making sure they realize the gravity of that. These pictures right now don't really come offline. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children program called Take It Down, where they're starting to a lot of these pictures that we get in our investigations. And that's great, but then it's also up to that company, that platform, to make sure they take it down. And I don't know that there's a whole lot of participation from a lot of the more popular companies. So it's just important, I think, for all of us to work on self-esteem with the kids, work on recognizing inappropriate language, conversations, and getting the kids to know they have somebody they can trust. I was at a school yesterday, and pretty much the entire 6th grade class was very subtly telling me that one of the girls took a nude picture and sent it to somebody who was 19. And they were trying not to rat her out in front of everybody else, but I could tell by what they were telling me that's who they were talking about, and by her reaction. She wasn't really, when she was talking to the counselor after, she wasn't really too concerned about the picture and where the picture was going to end up. She was more concerned that her friends were calling her out in class. And that was the immediate hurt and harm. But to get her to try to understand the long-term effects of that, it's still hard with a kid, right? So it's really gaining their trust, making them recognize what's okay and what isn't. So we right now, of those 21, I think it was 21.7 million cyber tips that the National Center for Missing Children gets during the year. Here in Cook County and Chicago, we have been averaging, I think we were at like 1,300 a month. So, a little over 14,000, I think that puts us. When I first started 15 years ago, we were getting like 400 a year. And so it wasn't very much. And then once COVID hit, a lot of companies, a lot of the platforms started reporting their users, and it really skyrocketed cyber tips across the country. So there are places to report, that kids can report, that any of us can report. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children has a cyber tip line. You can either access it online with them, or you can use their 1-800 The Lost number. So if you had patients or clients with issues like that, there is a safe place for them to report, where they don't have to sit down in front of somebody and talk about something that's embarrassing to them, but they can report it on those tip lines if they choose to do that. If they choose to go to the police, that's fine as well. Our task force will normally end up with that anyway. Especially in Chicago, what they normally do, they take the report with 311 or 911, and then they refer that report to the detectives here in SVU. And we have assigned detectives in Chicago here as well that do nothing but work our cases. So we have different types of investigators. We have people that go undercover that try to get these people off of the platforms before they get to the kids. We have detectives who will go and take over a child's account, especially if it looks like somebody's going to travel or try to meet that child. We'll make sure that they take that account over, act like the child, and then meet that person instead of, hopefully that person not meeting that child. We do, just regular investigations as well. We also work, we have members from the FBI here in Chicago on our task force, again, Homeland Security. Other countries do have task forces like ours, Canada, Australia, the UK, We just found out last week Bosnia started one. So sometimes it's like countries that we don't expect to start them. It's great because a lot of cases, like I said, they're coming from Kenya. I believe the FBI is at up to like 29 arrests in Kenya for people scamming kids here. I think there were 7 or 9 people in the Philippines. So it's really an interesting network of people that work. When detectives like Sandra need help, we have people in the task force that can help. We also have dedicated investigators here at the state's attorney's office who do that as well. We have our own forensic detectives that can go into cell phones, into different devices to retrieve evidence and sometimes retrieve pictures, which is helpful if we have 2 kids and those pictures haven't gone anywhere else. We can at least delete them enough to feel certain that they're not going anywhere else. But we try to help the children as much as we can. Our offices here are at the Chicago Children's Advocacy Center. So we have services here as well. The investigators, while they're talking with the children, will try to hook them up for services with different places. If there's no space here for kids to get counseling and they need it immediately, we try to help out and have them refer somewhere else. So we're kind of a pretty good sized network once we count everybody that's able to help us out. We do extend all through Cook County. We have members as far as Palatine, Barrington, Bartlett, and we go down like to Harvey, South Holland, Oak Forest. I don't know if there's anyone further south than those, but we do kind of stretch out all over as well. So if any of you had clients or parents or anybody that was concerned about it, we're more than happy to make sure you have the resources. I'm working on updating my list right now, which I'll make available to Sandra and to Suzette of resources and different spots that you can go to, or even recommend that parents go to online for information. That way you have it at your fingertips as well. But I know a couple of mine are outdated. I want to fix them up a little bit. And just to make sure everybody has the help that they need if they need it. So, as far as tips go, it's kind of hard with you all because, it's like, preaching to the choir, right? So the biggest thing is communication. Any of the kids you work with, any of the parents you work with, communication is the key. The kids need to feel safe when they're talking to people about what's going on. They need to know they have a trusted adult to go to. And they need to make sure they know that they will not be the ones to get into trouble. Of course, unless it's something they've initiated, which most of the time it's not. Even with kids who trade these pictures, most of the time it's not the kid's fault. It's the person that coerced them into doing it, and the kids don't even realize they're being talked into it. Most kids that are groomed, I'm sure most of you know, don't realize they're being groomed. And the people that we arrest, the people that we listen to when they talk about why they do what they do that because the kids are easy. And it's, sometimes easy to get that over on an adult, right? So the kids don't have a whole lot of chance when it comes to trying to outsmart somebody that practically does this for a living. So like I said, providing that space for them, making sure they know they're not the only ones. Getting parents to not overreact is hard. My dad was a big overreactor when it came to his children's safety, to the point where I was more afraid of what he would say to somebody else than what he would say to us, right? So it's talking parents into letting them know how to handle things calmly, how to talk to their children about what they're doing, that children have no expectation of privacy from their parents as far as their social media platforms, their devices they use, that the parents do have the right to go through everything. The parents do have the right to use family trackers, to use any programs or software that their providers allow and will provide for them that will help them keep their children safe. Sometimes now I find a lot of parents it would tell me I would never do that to my child. I would never invade my child's privacy. But there has to be some sort of oversight, just to make sure the kids are safe, right?
Kathleen,
So
Kathleen,
I don't know
there
if you
is
guys have any questions. It
yes,
looks like we're
Kathleen,
coming up
there
on
is a
10:43, so I don't want
okay.
to, keep rambling.
There is a question in
If
the
you have
chat box.
questions,
How do you handle cases that
let me
involve
scroll up.
juveniles? Kathleen, there's a question. How do you handle cases that involve two juveniles that may be sharing inappropriate photos? Do they get charged since both of them
Right.
are minors?
So we have not, since I've been in this group, which is pretty much from the beginning, we have not charged two children for doing that. Sometimes we do get cases where kids are dating. We had a case a while back. We had two 15-year-olds that were dating, and the girl's mom saw the photos of her daughter on her daughter's phone when she was going through it. So she ended up reporting it, and when she went to the police department, she's like, "Look what he made my daughter do. Look what he made my daughter send him." And he never even asked for it. Her daughter just took it upon herself, because she thought that was the thing to do. All the police did was explain to them why that was not the safest thing to do, how those pictures could easily be found by somebody else on their phones and sent around without their knowledge, and made sure that when they checked the phones, those pictures didn't go anywhere else out of those two phones, and they made sure they were wiped out of those phones. So when we do have those types of cases, that's what we do. They'll sit down, they'll talk to the kids. Now, if it's a case where a young teenager is exploiting other kids, then yeah, that would be more of an issue. But where we have the dating situations, we're not out to arrest kids for doing that. And a lot of times kids are just mimicking what the adults are doing. That's what they see in their house. That's what they know. So that's normally how they would handle that.
Okay, so Kathleen, there's one other question. Well, there's two. One of them, one question is there a website and that they can download resources to share with parents? And if there is, you could put that information in the chat box. And then another person had a question, how do we request presentation pamphlets on this? And I know that you said earlier that you would send the information to me or the people with National Provider Network, Family to Family. And so whoever needs that information can contact us and we will provide that information.
Sure, and I'll put, so the best resource I think to have parents go to is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's website. So I'll put that in the chat.
Okay.
They have programs, videos, tip sheets. They have all sorts of things for every age group, for the little kids all the way up to the parents. They have presentations on there that they can watch as well. They used to do a newsletter. I think they discontinued that for right now. They're trying to figure out how to start it again. But that is really the best site to refer people to. ICACtaskforce.org, which I'll put in there, is also a good one. There are portions of that website that people can look at as well. As far as presentations in Chicago and Cook County, and actually even if they're not, because I can refer them out if we need to, but I will put my information on there. You're more than welcome to contact me and we'll set you up with somebody. Like I said, we do all age groups. We do kindergarten all the way, to parents, and kind of doesn't matter, we kind of go anywhere at any time. And we also have a couple of people who are much better at the virtual thing than I am. So we can make sure we set you guys up. It's not a problem.
Okay, thank you so very much. And I don't want to rush, but we just only have a little bit of time.
Oh, no.
This has been an excellent presentation. And I just want to say thank you. Also, just to take care of a little bit of business, we need people to complete the attendance form before they go so that we can send you a certificate. And then second of all, any information that is in the chat box. If you don't get it, you can absolutely contact National Provider Network Family to Family. Now, there's two things that we have to do before we leave. But one of the things we have to do is I have to say a thank you to our tech person, who is actually Kimberly Haynes, who is the executive director to Family. She's not feeling very well today, but Kimberly, thank you so very much for all that you do. She is the brains behind the operation for this whole agency and organization. So thank you, Kimberly. We appreciate you so much. And then the second thing is Kristen, who has an organization. Kristen, you have 5 minutes to talk about your organization and why it is significant for this month. 5 minutes, darling. You got 5 minutes. Kristen Hadley. Okay, I don't know where Kristen is, but in honor of Women's History Month, I would like to read a poem. I don't know where Kristen is, but in honor of Women's History Month, I would like to read a poem. Okay, hold on a minute. All right. So, in honor of Women's History Month, I'd like to read this poem for all of my sisters. My sisters, after a while, you learn the subtle difference between holding a hand and chaining a soul. You learn that love doesn't mean leaning and company doesn't mean security. You begin to learn that kisses aren't contracts and presents aren't promises. You begin to accept your defeats with your head held high and your eyes wide open, with the grace of a woman and not the favor of a child. And you learn to build all your roads on today because tomorrow's ground is too uncertain for plans. And after a while, you learn that even sunshine burns if you get too much. So my sisters, on this day in Women's History Month, I would like to say to you, plant your own gardens and decorate your own souls instead of waiting for someone to bring you flowers. You learn that you really do have worth, you really are strong, and you really can endure. Happy Women's History Month from everybody at National Provider Network and Family to Family. Thank you so very much for joining us. Ooh.
Thank you. That was
Thank
amazing.
you.
We have 10 minutes left. If Kristen Hadley is still available, she can talk about her organization. I don't know what happened to her. Okay. I don't know where she is, but happy Women's History Month and happy weekend. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful week. And thank you so very much for joining us. And come back next month and bring a friend. Thank you.
Great job. Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. And thank you, Kathleen and Sandra. We appreciate you so very much. I know that the topic was a little bit heavy this month, but it's information that we all needed to have. And anyone who wants to contact Kathleen or Sandra and they need their information, they can contact the National Provider Network or Family to Family, and we will work our magic. All right. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.